What's going on, everybody? Welcome back in, playing some more Higurashi When They Cry. So last time I saved, like, right after a chapter was done, and all that says on the loading screen is just that the die of fate has been cast. So let's see what happens. Let's see what horrors await us. The die of fate had been cast. Ooh, I like this music. Reporting to a public agency, which we kept being warned could instead result in something far worse for Satsuko if we didn't have the evidence first. And just like that. Had I failed, had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment, maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion since she had been relatively calm. I remembered the punishment game where we had to badmouth Kuri, and how me saying anything would have made it worse, and Satsuko told us to leave the talking to her. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to lament it. The die I had thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen. He really did, man. Like, he's getting super emotional about it, but that's understandable. Like, nothing's getting done, and his friend's, sitting there getting abused by some jerk constantly. It's rough. Feel bad for the guy.
だから、あとは先生たちに任せよう。ね。
俺にできる精一杯。本当に俺が死に物狂いに精一杯だったら、里子を夕べのうちに連れ出して、どこかの廃屋にでも隠れてる。
That wouldn't have worked out, man. You know damn well that wouldn't have worked out.
そうならなかったってことは、俺は精一杯じゃなかったってことだろ。
Also, like always, Ren is such a good friend.
もう考えるのはよそ。圭一くん、少し根を詰めすぎだよ。そんな調子じゃ、圭一くんまで倒れちゃう。
Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. Aw, Keiichi's beating himself up about this, man. I wonder if I had really gotten Shinji-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene and solve everything within the day? Oh, God, no. Would they acknowledge the abuse and guarantee her safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study. The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Oh, she looks mad. She looks really bad. Sensei came trotting back from the classroom.
今日は何度も電話で本当にすみませんでしたね。
She looks terrifying when she's mad, not gonna lie,
で
man.
は今日はこれでおしまいにします。委員長、号令。起立。
After she's like, yeah, there's too much going on. Just go home, guys. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since after lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation and passionately explained it to the other person. At the end, the Child Consultation Center, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her to safety. Sensei understood that as well as us, and that's why she looks so unreliable right now. Yeah, she's struggling just like you guys are, and it sucks. Because government agencies, they take so long.
帰ろうよ。
When they actually, do something.
部活する気も起きないでしょ。みーちゃん、部活は誰がかけても面白くないよ。
Brennan was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we could have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself all I can do is pray, now that the dice have been cast. Just in case they didn't get her to safety and decide to wait and see again. I need to take further measures, bro. What are you thinking? Further measures sounds dastardly. We've asked the people who could do something official already. Then there was one more place that was worth asking for help. She might laugh it off. Or I might be right and I could be endangering my own life. What? But I'd try.
ミオ、今日さ、お前の家に寄ってもいいか？
Oh.
漫画かなり持ってるんだろ？少しまとめ狩りしたいんだけどな。
I remembered who he's talking about.
え？いいけど。
Damn, you figured Mion would be more excited to have, her boy toy come over. There was an ominous meaning behind my words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something alone. That's what I meant.
みーちゃん、圭一くん。
Oh, sorry, Rennie, you're kind of out of the discussion here, bro. Ren already had her shoes on and was waving to us from the schoolyard. Oh, jeez, that went quick. Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was a vaguely old-fashioned, traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or their plot of land was enormous. It easily convinced me that they really were major landowners, with Hinamizawa under their thumb. Mion brought me through the guest room and a servant brought us some tea.
へえ、さすが金持ちだな。お手伝いさんなんか雇ってるのかよ。
Speaking of tea, I had some nice, delicious iced black tea this morning. So good.
私とバッチャしか住んでないもの。私だけじゃやってけないよ。
The servant laughed, telling us it was 5 o'clock, then withdrew with soft footsteps.
週に2、3回ね。バッチャの世話とか掃除の手伝いで来てくれてる。3、4人がローテーションで入ってくれてるんで、大抵毎日誰かがいてくれるよ。夕方までだけどね。あ、宴会とかがあって人手が欲しい時には別途に呼んでるんだけどさ。
Must be nice to have that money. Yeah, if you have the money to hire all these people, then just take Satsuko going, oh, bro. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately. There's only so much they can do, man.
ごめん。
Like...
いいよ。金の問題じゃないことは分かってるからな。
Yeah, exactly. There's some,
先に言っとくけど、
yeah.
うちはお金持ちかもしれないけど、
They're probably still pissed off about her, even though it's not her fault at all. They're 100% still pissed off about the whole damn
私に
incident.
自由にできるお金は全くないんだからね。
Yeah, and Mion doesn't
そこだ
control
け
all
は
the
誤解し
finances.
ないでほしい。
Kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately. Yeah,
Lisa.
everybody's just in a bad mood, which is
何？
fine.
ケイちゃん、なんか話があったんじゃないの？
ミオンにかなり本気な話がある。突然な話でミオンは面食らうかもしれないが聞いてほしい。
何？
あ、先に逃げ道を渡しておくな。
When the screen goes to black and music like this starts playing, you know it's going to be a serious conversation.
仮に本当だったとしてミオンはそれを認めてくれなくてもいい。しらばっくれててもいい。だけれど最後まで俺の話は聞いてほしい。
Again, the music in these games, so good.
鬼ヶ淵村御三家の今や筆頭家、その次期当主の園崎ミオンに話がある。
Oh, he wants to talk to business, man. Got you. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted. React
どこ
content?
で聞いた
What's
の？
up?
それは関係ないことだ。
I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. Oh, I have heard this song before. This was why I asked you about it after all.
ケイちゃんが鬼ヶ淵村の名を知ってることだけでも驚きだけど、私についていろいろとあることないことを知ってそうだね。
あ
And this is why friends talk it
あ、
out.
あること、俺が勘違いしてるだけなのかもしれない。でもそれでもいいから聞いてくれ。そしてもしも本当なんだったら。
ケイちゃんが何の話をしようとしてるかわからないけど、話す前に釘を刺すよ。とにかくケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。だからできるなら私はケイちゃんの話も聞きたくない。聞いても
Shot down immediately.
何も叶えてあげられないからね。でも話すことでケイちゃんの肩が少しでも軽くなるなら聞くよ。本当に聞くだけ。何も起こらないよ。それでもいいね。
あ
Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd be talking about. She warned me that doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Sonozaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that have been occurring every year in Hinamizawa. Bro, you're basically just straight up, like, accusing her of doing that. That's probably not the best conversation to have right now.
お社様のたたりってあるよな。
Mion nodded a
正
little.
体不明。なぜ起こるのかも不明。個々には解決しながらも全体で見れば不可解な連続開始連続失踪事件。でも一つだけ共通することがある。それは必ず村の旧敵が標的に選ばれること。
I mean, fair.
みたいだね。
That little smug smile, I love it. Mian spoke as if it didn't relate to her. That was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen to me.
あさってだろ、綿流し。
Oh, it's getting
今
oh,
年の
it's
た
soon.
たりの犠
Okay.
牲者ってさ、もう決まってるのか？
I forgot there's only a couple more chapters left. Mian didn't answer. Her expression remained the same, too. Like she said, she was just quietly listening.
あ、ごめんな。聞いてるだけって約束なのに、質問しちゃ変だよな。
Mian gave me a look she'd never given me before, a faraway look, a sympathetic one. She didn't nod, she just smiled faintly and listened.
もしも、今年のたたりが、聡子のおじじゃなかったなら、だって、
That's what he's trying to ask.
去年は聡子のおばだろ。順番から言えば、決しておかしくはないだろう。
I mean, he's putting the puzzle pieces together a little bit accurately.
そうだね。そういう順序もあるね。
第一あいつ、去年のたたりでおばが死んだ後、聡子を放り出して丸1年、そんなやつ、もろにお社様のたたり確定じゃないかよ。今年のたたりに選んでも不足はないはずだぜ。
そうだね。今年のたたりであいつが死んでも、多分みんな納得するね。
俺、聞いたんだ。お社様のたたりってのは、その。
No matter how I looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I should continue. No matter how I tried, the words wouldn't come out.
hinamizawa連続開始事件、通称お社様のたたりは、園崎家が主導で御三家が起こしている村ぐるみの事件だでしょ。
別に俺は
Bro, that's 100% what you're saying.
それにミオンが
100%.
関わってるとか、そんなのには興味がないんだ。ただ、もしもそういうたたりを決めている連中に渡りがつくなら、聡子のおじをたたりに選ぶように言ってほしいだけなんだ。
You can just hear like the desperation in his voice too.
頼む。
ケイちゃんの言ってる内容は、さっきから本当にひどいこと。hinamizawa連続開始事件が園崎家主導の事件なんだとしたら、それじゃあ主犯格は私ってことだよね。
I mean, it's a big family. Could be any of them.
私がたたりを決め指示をし、何人も殺めて消したことになる。ケイちゃんは私を人殺し呼ばわりするんだ。
Yeah, he kinda is.
だから言ってるじゃないか。ミオンが連続殺人の主犯だろうと無関係だろうと、俺はどうでもいいんだ。
Saying you don't care whether she is a murderer or not is still saying that she's a murderer.
たとえミオンが殺人犯だって、俺の親友であることには何も関係ないじゃないか。それでも全然構わないんだぜ。警察に追われたら助けてやる。お前のアリバイを作ってやるし、逃走だって助けてやる。
Keiichi's a real one.
仲間で親友だからだ。そうだろ。
Mian looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded.
いきなり共犯宣言？ケイちゃん、かなり大胆だよそれ。
いいから話の腰を折るな。佐藤のおじを今年のたたりに。
ケイちゃんストップ。そろそろご飯の準備をしたいから、今日はこれくらいにしたいんだけど。
ミオ。
I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. Oh. They slid down my chin and fell drip drop to the tatami mat.
最初から言ってる通り、ケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。お社様のたたりはお社様のたたり。たとえ人間の起こした事件であったにせよ、それは園崎家とは、ましてや私とは何の関係もないよ。
ああ、それは分かっているさ。
Just he's so desperate.
だからケイちゃんの必死の訴えには胸を打たれるけど、それだけ。私が叶えてあげたくても叶えてあげられない。それもわかるね。
ああ。
でもケイちゃんの気持ちは痛いくらいに分かったよ。もしも本当に私がケイちゃんの言うように御三家を操って毎年の犠牲者を選べる立場にあったなら、きっと私はケイちゃんの願いを叶えているよ。
I think anybody with a heart would do
ミオ。
that.
でも現実は違う。私はただの園崎美音。確かに園崎家はいろいろな意味で悪い噂を持って 連続開始事件とは何の関係もない。ダム闘争では確かに少々過激な抵抗もしたけれど、それ
I
だ
was
け。
gonna smack one for a little extreme.
人殺しなんて大それたこと、絶対にやらないよ。
Actually, yeah, technically, they didn't kill anybody.
そんな悲しいこと言うなよ。せめ
Aw.
て今だけでも嘘でもいいからうなずいてくれればいいじゃないか。
Aw.
ケイちゃん、
She's being a good friend and not lying to you.
夢を見るのは勝手。私がここでうなずいてみせれば、ケイちゃんは聡子があさっての夜に解放されると信じて肩の荷を下ろすことができるんだろうけどね。でも無情にも聡子の叔父はあさっての夜も超える。来週になっても再来週になっても居続ける。それを覚悟してね。私は綿流しの次の日になぜ殺さなかったなんてケイちゃんに詰め寄られたくない。
ミオ、
Neon stood up slowly and closed the sliding door to keep out the wind that had grown chilly.
ミオさんかな、ケイちゃんにそんな話を吹き込んだのは。
Alright, that's pretty spot on.
あの人Hinamizawaをいい感じに誤解してるからな。まあ本人が一人で楽しんでる分にはいいんだけど、ケイちゃんを感化するのはいただけないな。やれやれ、これだからよそ者は。
高野さんは関係ないからな。
はいはい、でも安心して。仮にミオさんがケイちゃんに喋ったと分かったって別にどうにもならないんだから。別にミオさんが今年のタタリに選ばれるわけじゃない。
I don't know, man. Track record so far has been, she's been dead each time, so
そ
we'll see
も
what
そも
happens.
今年もタタリがあるかどうかなんてわからないよ。あんなの不幸な偶然がただ積み重なっただけなんだからさ。
聞いてくれて、もしもミオンが連続事件と何の関係もなかったなら謝っておくな。
そうだね、謝っておいてくれるかな。
Aw. Mian said she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said she had a meeting or something today about Sunday's Watanagashi Festival, so there would be a lot of people from the town council and the festival committee meeting are coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say. She's a real one.
天に神様がいるならさ、きっとケイちゃんの強い思いは伝わるから。
あ、今日は変な話をして本当にごめんな。今日の話はなかったことにしてくれていい？
うん、忘れておくよ。
じゃあ明日な。
バイバイ。
Deuces. I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that what Takano-san had told me, at least, wasn't a complete fabrication. Mion was really, really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips. I wanted to think that was proof. You're overthinking it so much right now, dude. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Satsuko's uncle. Yeah, it's kind of a weird conversation to have there, bro. Just a little bit. I was the only one talking that whole time. Mion quietly listened to everything I had to say like a pastor listening to a confession. She could have gotten angry partway through, told me off, and to go wash my face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. Was that proof that Mion's family, the Sanozaki, were the masterminds? Or was she just listening because she felt sorry for me going kinda crazy? I didn't know which it was. But it was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance. Should worse come to worse and the public agency decided to wait and see. They probably will. It was a completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Since I said that if she reported it to the Child Consultation Center, they'd have to respond on the same day. Could they already be in the middle of responding to it now? If Satsuko came to school tomorrow morning all energetic, then everything would be just a needless fear. Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? So tomorrow would be Saturday, and then Watanagashi is the day after that on Sunday, right? I think. That night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get to sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Satsuko, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tested the end of her nightmare, enjoying a night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon.
おはよう、ケイチくん。
おはよ
And she's so energetic.
よかった。今日もお寝坊かと思ったよ。昨日はおばさまには先に行ったって言われるし、学校には来ていないし、途中で日射病で倒れちゃったのかなって心配してたんだから。
Oddly
う。へい
specific.
へい。昨日は心配かけて申し訳ございませんでした。
Hey, good morning!
みーちゃん、おはよ
They're all very super chipper right now. Like super
う。大丈
nice and
夫？
happy sounding.
なんかすっごく眠そうだよ。
そういえば昨日は遅くまで町会の人が集まっての打ち合わせ会だったんだろ？
打ち合わせ会なんて名ばかりの宴会だよ。毎年やってるお祭りだも
Oh,
ん。
did she get her drink on? Little
今
hangover?
さら小難しい打ち合わせなんかないし。
今日の午後はやっぱりお祭りのお手伝いに行くのかな。
うん。バッチャの代わりにいろいろ挨拶しなきゃなんないし。それにね、祭りってのは準備からもう始まってるからね。
Our morning conversation was lighthearted as usual. It looked like Mia had thankfully forgotten about how I'd barged into her house yesterday with that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I feel like I'd really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless, and it wouldn't have been weird if she'd yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. To think that our comrade and friend Mion, the young leader of the Sonozakis, one of the three families effectively controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents, was a little unbelievable. But if there was even a 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. Maybe. I still think you're thinking way too much on that, dude. Like, you gotta chill. Yes, it was no more than 1 in 100. It's much less than that. That little bit of effort might have brought the chances of saving Satsuko up by even a tiny bit. At least I'd made the effort. You know what? If it makes you feel better, man. Sure. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it's probably just to clap my hands and pray that Satsuko's uncle would be killed by the curse.
さとこ、今日は来ているといいな。
そうだね。先生がいろいろと手配してくれたんでしょ？うん。きっと大丈夫だよ。
Hinamizawa地区の民生委員が私のおばさんなんだけどさ、ゆうべ電話して聞いてみたよ。
Oh, that was nice.
へえ、みーちゃんのおばさんって民生委員さんなんだね。
Bro, there are Sonozakis all over.
それで、さとこちゃんのことなんて言ってたの？
うん。先生があの後、直接沖宮の生活相談所に電話してね。担当の職員さんが夕べのうちに訪問したらしいよ。
Ooh, okay.
私のおばさんにも今後定期的にアプローチするようにと連絡があったって。
Oh,
難
that's
しい
good.
話はいいよ。それより、さとこはどうなったんだよ。保護されたのか？
おばさんはそこまでは知らされてなかったみたい。本来はこういうのって秘密だからね。おばさんが私に話してくれたのも十分に倫理違反なんだしさ。
Very true.
くそ、かえって不安になったぞ。
How? It means they're working on it at least.
行こう。学校に。
Right. Discussing this more would just make us feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Satsuko was safe or not. 3 of us nodded and ran off. Was Satsuko safe? What measures had the Child Consultation Center taken? I didn't care what, as long as we can go back to our peaceful life with Satsuko today, it didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks at the entrance, Rena took a peek in Satsuko's shoe cubby.
あ、さとこちゃんの靴あるよ。あるよ。
Well, at least her shoes are there.
ケイチくん、
Let's see
さ
if
とこ
she's
ちゃんは
safe.
来てるよ。よかった。
来てるだけじゃわからないだろ。さとこの顔を見るまで何もわかるものか。
Facts. We trotted towards the classroom. Trot, trot. The classroom was lively as it usually was in the morning.
さとこ、どこだ？
みー、
My dude came in with a mission.
ここにちゃんといますですよ。朝っぱらから騒々しいですわね。少しはお静かになさいませ。
She looks perfectly fine. I'm sure there's no problem at all, and everything will turn out perfectly okay.
さとこちゃん、その、大丈夫だった？
All of her friends crowded around Satsuko excitedly.
あのさ、さとこ、家で、どういう話になったわけ？
呼んだのはどなたですの？まったく、どんな騒ぎでしたのよ。
Bro, you gotta stop faking that everything's
先生だ
okay.
よ。あれだけ欠席すりゃ心配もする。
Satsuko said, I told you I'm fine, under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own.
私もおじさまもとんだ迷惑でしたのよ。急にあんなに人に押しかけられて、もう。みんなさとこちゃんのこと心配してたんだよ。迷惑だなんて言わないで。
ああ、もうとにかくそれでどうなったんだよ。
どうもこうもしませんわ。風邪が治ったから学校に来ただけのことですのよ。
Bro.
これからはあんまりお休みして心配をかけないようにしないといけませんわね。
What was Satsuko saying?
おじさんはどうなったの？
She's being so fake right now.
ええ、多少誤解があったことを認めて、二人でごめんなさいをしまして。
Tug. Riki-chan grabbed the back of my collar and pulled me away.
なんだよ、リカちゃん。
Riki-chan silently dragged me all the way into the hallway.
リカちゃん、あれはどういうことだよ。
She's like, bro, shut up. Listen.
さとこは、何でもないと言って追い返してしまいました。
They were there. That was her chance, bro.
バカ野郎！なんで？
No, somewhere in my mind, I thought it might turn out like this. Satsuko didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to ride out this pain. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need to hide behind him anymore.
だけど、監督に聞いた話じゃ、保護士ってのは本人の意思に関係なく緊急保護をすることができるんだろう。
Like, if there's no proof or anything...
いくら聡子が虐待を否定したって、虐待は事実。
That's where it's tough, and that's why, like, emotional abuse and stuff is so bad and, like, hard to kind of pinpoint, because there's nothing, physical that you really see from it. Oh. Yo, every time she shows up on screen, she looks determined or angry, and I love it. G-sensei finally came. Her expression was far from cheerful.
前原君の言う通り、児童福祉士は緊急性があると判断すれば、職権で緊急保護をすることができます。当事者の意思に関係なく。
じゃあどうして聡子の意思が変に尊重されて保護されないことに？
それに、沖宮の相談所もいろいろ検討した末にそういう判断を。
Well, the Okinomiya Child Consultation Center is stupid. There, I said it.
なんだよそりゃ
！Same.
先生、昨日あんた絶対に助けるから大丈夫って言わなかったか？これはどういうことだよ！おかしいじゃねえかよ！おい！
Like, it's totally understandable that he's super mad about it, but like, dude, you gotta chill. You're gonna make your heart explode.
ケイチ、実はこれが3回目なのです。過去にも2回あったのです。
古出さん。
Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway.
過去に一昨年の冬に通報して様子見になったって話は聞いてるが、その前にもあったのか？
聡子の死んでしまったお父さんは聡子の本当のお父さんではないのです。
え？リカちゃん、それが
I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so I couldn't get a word in either.
聡子のお母さんは再婚なのです。聡子とサトシはお母さんの連れ子で、お父さんとは血はつながっていなかったのです。
Makes sense, like a stepfather. Satoshi was a good kid, one who listened politely to what adults told him. He was immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But Satsuko was different. She was rebellious, she told lies, she played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like her at all. I hate that so much.
つまりどういうことだよ。
聡子はおじ夫婦に預けられる以前の家族の時もあまり良好な家族関係ではなかったのです。
Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent at the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him. But the young Satsuko didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather and never opened her heart to him even a little. She just got on his nerves all the time, with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course. That too faded quickly.
私はその時はひなみ沢にいなかったから、よく昨日電話で初めて知りました。
先生が聞いたのはどんな話ですか？
聡子ちゃんが両親。
Oh no, did she file a false claim or... Oh...
特に義理のお父さんを陥れるのを目的に嘘の話を作って。
They would absolutely take any issues with her with a grain of salt at this point then.
自分で生活相談所に電話したって。
自称と作り話？
聡子は嫌いなお父さんを追い払うため嘘の電話をしたのです。
Child welfare officers rushed there and heard the story. Her father genuinely apologized for a few times when he had gone too far and agreed to let the child welfare center give him coaching.
いろいろと関係機関が調べた結果ね、ギフと聡子ちゃんの心のすれ違いに原因があることは分かったんだけど、それ以上に聡子ちゃん自身に問題があることが分かったの。
聡子に問題って何です？
Satsuko's mother. There were a few times where she had lived with a de facto husband, though those relationships didn't result in remarriage. From a young age, Satsuko had been forced to call at least 2 or 3 people her father. Oh, that sucks, man. Just being bounced around like that. No wonder why she's so pissed off about it. At some point, Satsuko's pranks escalated. She would spill food on purpose, turn over her plate, and even throw it. Yeah, it's not a prank. That's just being a little asshole. But it's to be it's not understandable. Because, you know, she's got all this going on. She doesn't know how to really regulate being mad or angry about it. So, that's what she does. She would break the windows in the neighborhood and shoplift candy. She would put thumbtacks everywhere and set other traps to seriously hurt people. Not in the way she did now, just to get laughs. She was also fond of telling lies that would be found out right away, and people got mad at her every time. But she never ever changed her behavior.
聡子ちゃんのことを問題児なんて思わないでね。
I don't know, man. Kinda sounds like it.
これは幼い聡子ちゃんが母親を知らない男に取られまいとして取った自衛的な行為なの。
Understandable. In regards to Satsuko's problematic behavior, child psychology experts from public institutions indicated her actions were to draw her mother's attention to herself. They acknowledged that she had a form of harmful emotional trauma and declared that she needed counseling and therapy from professionals. They didn't know whether that therapy had healed the wounds in her heart.
聡子ちゃんはわざと体に傷を作り、お父さんに虐待を受けているとね。
And like therapy
自分
doesn't
で通報して、
it
お
doesn't
父
really
さんを追い出
completely
そうとした。
heal you. You know, it just helps you kind of learn to live with stuff.
でも結局聡子をいじめてたわけだろ、その義父は。
I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like it.
いいえ、虐待の話は全部
Yeah.
聡子ちゃんの作り話だった。義理のお父さんはもちろん少し感情的な叱り方をしてしまったかもしれないけど、逸脱しているほどではなかったの。
I mean, if a kid laid out a thumbtack trap for me, I'd probably yelp them too. Like, it just is what it is. Satsuko had lied to chase away her stepfather, and they saw through her right away, and found out that Satsuko had issues.
あ、ひょっとしてそのせいで一昨年の冬は様子見に。
Sucks, man.
はい、ちゃんと昔の記録が残ってましたですから。聡子の嘘の可能性もあるから慎重にということになりましたのです。
なんだよそれ。つまりなんだよ。聡子は嘘をつくかもしれないから慎重に。だから様子を見ろってことになってるのかよ。
What can they do though, man?
狼と羊飼いさんなのです。
Exactly. It sucks. It's just such a crappy situation overall, man. That fable about telling a lie once, making others unwilling to believe you later.
ふざけんなよ。昔のことなんか全然無関係だろ。
It does though, bro. You gotta chill.
今現在起こってる事実だけが重要なんだろうが。聡子はおじに虐待されている。
To you, maybe, but the people involved, the past
どう
stuff
し
is
てその
definitely
事実
important.
が昔の出来事で歪められなきゃならねえんだよ。
Neither Sensei nor Rika-chan had anything to say to
とに
that.
かくそれを慎重に判断するために保護士さんが昨日訪れましたのです。
And Satsuko dealt with them, put on the best, strongest smile she could manage, and denied the abuse. Of course, she was probably being threatened to keep quiet about it by her uncle. Satsuko was trying to outlast everything without asking for help. Satsuko wanted to wait for Satoshi to come back home, and she outright denied the truth of the abuse. What an idiot. But you're not really enduring it. Do you really think pretending like this will actually bring Satoshi back? Stop it already. Satoshi, he abandoned you. And the fact that he hasn't shown up to save you now is proof, isn't it? So just stop it. Please stop being weird and pretending to endure it.
今した話はいいですね。他の子に喋ったら先生怒りますからね。
She will literally kill you and turn you into curry. She sent to give me a warning that then left to go back to the teacher's lounge.
ケイチ、サトコのことをかわいそうな子なんて思わないでくださいです。サトコはしっかり生きていますです。サトコは
そんなの分かってる。俺たちのかけがえのない仲間だ。
サトコはまだ頑張っています。
Rick's got that serious face on
も
her.
う少し見守ってあげましょうです。相談所の人が今後も定期的に訪問すると言ってるのです。
That's good at least.
大変なことになったらすぐに助けてくれますよ。
大変なことになった後だろ。
Any more than that would have sounded like I was picking a fight, so I firmly swallowed my next words and went back to the classroom. Mion and Renner were talking to Satsuko like they always did. It was a silly conversation, a humorous, even fun one, like it was any old day. If Satsuko really said she could still endure it, then maybe I should do as Rika-chan said and watch over her. Maybe whatever help I offer will just go unwanted.
さて、お昼でございますわね。
How does she have so much energy? I can't understand. She's
5
putting
人
on such
揃
a
って
brave
のお
face,
昼は
man.
久しぶりだね。やっぱりこうじゃないとダメだよね。
まったく同感同感。ほらほらケイちゃんも机寄せて。
Satsuko brought her own desk over as well, grinning broadly. Even knowing nothing had been resolved, this exchange was pleasant and made me remember how fun it used to be.
いつまでもリカにお弁当を作ってもらっては悪いですわね。いいのですよ。サトコのお弁当を作るのは僕の楽しみなのです。
Aw. Rika-chan's such a good girl. Having such a good friend must be so reassuring.
僕に大きなハンバーグを入れて、サトコには焦げたのを入れて。
Got him.
サトコだけかわいそうでニパ
I take it back. Well, she's Rika-chan after all.
ー。ほらほら、見て見て。今日はほらオムライスなんだよ。マッシュルームとか美味しそうだよね。だよね。はう。
Yeah, that sounds good.
いつもながらお見事なお手前でございましたよ。いつお嫁に行ってもおかしくない腕前ですわね。お嫁。
She's way too excited.
食べると。
That's a bit different than what the conversation is right now, so... A bit of a different scenario.
レナにお嫁は NG ワードだね。以後控えるように。
Yeah, she kind of,
ほんのちょっぴり
went off the
完
rails
成
there,
しまし
man.
たよ。
ところでミオンの弁当はなんだよ。今日のはまた趣が違って期待大だな。
おじさんはまったりと夕べのおかず詰め合わせね。煮物がいい感じなんだよ。ほら大根の色はかなりいいでしょ。
わあ、美味しそうなのです。
It's worrying because, like, I know this fun, whimsical stuff is not gonna last very long.
煮物は一晩寝かせてからが真骨頂だな。これはかなりいけそうだ。よって聡子の分はなし。
Yo, I haven't had like a good stew for a long time.
俺が全部食って感想を聞かせるから黙って見てろ。
なんですって？私の分もおよこしなさいな。
Elbow punch headbutt. I'll use my knees too, or yeah. Oh god. Way too close.
密着距離まで入れば私の有利は動きませんわね。
It always terrifies me when their face is like
ケイクさ
right
んの
there.
分のお大根が実に美味しいですわ。
ちっくしょう。バトル開始時から密着でいきなりコンボとは無念。
This little exchange, how long had it been? It looked like they'd ended up going with the wait-and-see approach, but maybe her uncle had realized he'd gotten a little too far and would dial it back now. If her treatment improved a little, would that be a good thing? Yeah. Satoko was grinning wider than I'd ever seen as she chomped down on her mouthful of the daikon she plundered from me. Did it really taste that good? Uh-oh, nope. Nope. She looks sad. She looks too sad. She looks dead in the eyes. I don't like it. Satoko was somewhat cute like that. Nope. And just as I'd done many times, I grabbed her head and started petting it. Oh. Catch. Smack, flip, flop, clair, clair.
さとこちゃん？
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna last very long, man. It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. The back of my hand was stinging. I went to pet Satoko's head and then she hit my hand.
どうしたの、さとこ。
She probably just got triggered immediately from like somebody trying to just touch her in like a warm way, like a loving way. Satoko was scratching at her head as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and became itchy. It was so sudden and so unprovoked that I didn't understand what happened.
どうした聡子。
At some point, her body had been covered in a thin layer of sweat and her breathing had turned ragged. When I pet her head, did she not like it? Was that what it meant? It's something like that.
頭撫でられるの嫌いだったっけ？
Use your brain, my dude. She's going through so much. She doesn't want to be touched right now, even like in a loving like hug way or anything like that. Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Satoko's head. The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, there was a shock like static electricity and Satoko began to howl. Oh. Thud slam. She grabbed my arm in both hands, and as if flinging off a snake trying to cling to her, as if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. It happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me, and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom fell deathly silent. As Satoko bellowed, it sounded like she was in the throes of death, and she unsteadily backed away. Then she threw up the food she'd just eaten. She vomited it all back up. Splish splat. The sound of Satoko's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom.
大丈夫かよ、聡子。具合でも。
Dude, it's like I want to be mad at them for not understanding what's going on, but they're also young, so they probably wouldn't realize that or don't deal with it often. Reached out hand, she swatted away with all her... Bro, stop trying! Such extreme strength that I fell into the floor again. Satsuko put both hands on her head as though protecting it, groaned some more and took a few steps back. And then she began swinging both hands around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach, bento boxes, chairs, threw them, tossed them, and flung them about.
ちょっとやめなよ、さとこ。あんたどうしちゃったの？
She's having a total nervous breakdown right now. She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Satsuko alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, there were desks and chairs all over the floor, bento lates scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Satsuko's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas. Strings of tension loosened around Satsuko. Then maybe she suddenly grew scared of her own actions. So she started trembling and gave a word of apology. But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So for now, I decided to answer as everyone's representative.
いや、そっちこそ大丈夫か？
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Again, the voice acting is so good, but so sad at the same time. And like, this is something that happens with, you know, anybody who's been abused, especially when they're younger. Like, you kind of start assuming everything is your fault, so you apologize for everything. Our words didn't match each other at all. Satsuko hugged her shoulders, and back she went. She ran into a locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused the bucket atop the locker to fall, making a loud sound, and that scared Satsuko most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtain in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。私じゃないです。私じゃないです。
Satsuko, what on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Satsuko.
何があったんだ？
だから私知らないです。私知らないです。違うからもう嫌です。やめてください。許して
落ち着けよ。
You can tell, I think, it was somebody who mentioned in the comments, I apologize, I don't remember the name, something about, like, the author of this, Rikishios, having worked in, like, child services, and just the way that everything, like, how she's acting and what's been going on so far with this whole scenario, it's definitely written by somebody who understands, like, you know, childhood trauma and abuse and everything. You can tell that it's very well written in that regard.
サトコ、俺がわかるか？
もう嫌だ。嫌です。
Every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried out.
サトコ、俺だよ。ケイチだ。わかんないのか？お前に危害なんか加えない。だから落ち着けって。大丈夫だ。俺はお前の味方だって。
助けて。怖いのやだ。痛いのやだ。
Suddenly my shoulders were grabbed and I was dragged backward. It was Rena.
ごめん、ケイチくん。ケイチくんはちょっと後ろに行ってて。
After pulling me back, she ran towards Satsuko in my place.
大丈夫だよ、さとこちゃん。もう怖いことなんかないよ。ほら、安心して。やだ。もうやだ。ニーニー。助けて。ニーニー、助けてよ。
As she gripped the curtains and kept calling for Nini, she continued to wail about being forgiven for something and to be saved from something. What is this? Mian is so pissed off right now. Mian gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes.
どうなってんだよ、これ。昨日で全部終わったんじゃないのか？今日からまた元の生活に戻っていくんじゃないのか？ミオ！
Crash. There was a crazy sound. Ren had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Everyone stood surprised at Rena's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Rena embraced the bawling Satsuko from behind and started crying with her, stifled. Yeah, Rena definitely took out her anger just knocking over that whole cabinet. Everybody's so pissed off right now, but at the same time, they're so worried.
Rena,
Like, even though this is super emotional, it's just super well done.
ごめん。ケイチくん、ちょっと黙ってて。
今のはなんだよ。どうしたんだよ。 里子から何か聞いたのか？何を聞いたんだよ。
サイナー
Oh, somebody's pissed off. Holy shit. Alright. Yep, that's
黙ってろって言ってんでしょ
Oh, she's going hard. Rena's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. It was no more than a momentary howl of emotion for Rena, but it was more than that for me. She had shown me what was behind all that emotion, what was in her heart. Yeah, she's been holding it in too, man, trying to be like supportive and stuff, but she's gotta be beyond pissed off too.
さとこちゃん。やだやだやだやだ。もう、やだやだやだ。許して。何もできなかった私たちを。許して。リリリリリごめんね。ごめんね。
Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Rena's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with gray, and the world lost its color. I thought we could save Satsuko. But though I knew it'd be the sooner the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that we could be too late. I'd been making a huge mistake. I thought Satsuko could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is absolutely absurd. We needed to save Satsuko. We needed to save her before she broke. You need to save her before she breaks more. Like, she's kind of fried right now, my dude. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? That went without saying. Mine. No, ours. We all took on the duty of saving Satsuko, but we were negligent to the point of laziness. In that sense, this was the inevitable result. Even if this didn't happen today and it happened tomorrow or the day after or next week, we'd have just sat around doing nothing until that day. This was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees, just as Mion and Rika-chan had done, and I too closed my eyes tight and couldn't stop myself from sobbing.
何の騒ぎですか?
Bro, you just now showing up. Like, that must have been some delicious ass curry that you're eating to ignore all that noise going on in your classroom.
ちょっと、何があったんです?
Teacher came and her face screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she realized the teacher was here, Satsuko went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains and, like nothing happened, smiled.
北条さん、これは一体何事ですか?
ちょっとレナさんと喧嘩になってしまっただけですのよ。お弁当をめぐってちょっぴり大暴れなんですの。ね。
Rena didn't nod in reply, but then, since Satsuko wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. They all just stared in a daze.
ちょっと悪ふざけをしただけなんですのよ。皆さん、度肝を抜かれすぎでございますわね。
Sako probably swept the whole thing under the rug. For what? Your heart is torn to pieces, so what else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi doesn't ever intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. So you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry, beg for help, and you can run away. Whoa. I don't know, that was just like a howl of crying, I think.
無力だから。
Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, those few words that had tormented me countless times. Those words were a spell, and when I heard them, my whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave departing. And then... What was this music? Then the world's color flipped inside out. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold, and I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At the time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small, petty vessel of my head, but floating in the air a little above it. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free of the cramped confines of my skull and stretched out my roots, in all directions as far as I wanted to. What is going on, dude? It was a strange feeling, and one I'd never felt before. An odd sense of exhilaration. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend. Bro, is he turned Super Saiyan right now? That's what it sounds like. My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed with grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to action.
Mio, お前は呪ってろ。自分の無力さをいつまでも。
Even his voice has completely changed. Whoa.
Eh?
If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I'd have cried all day. But the fact was, this was how things had turned out. I couldn't take back what had happened. Top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I'd be looking at things so narrow-mindedly I could scarcely believe it. Save Satsuko. The only thing to do was to save Satsuko. That's the only thing I thought about. I didn't allow myself to realize the most basic, direct, and certain way of removing the source of Satsuko's unhappiness. No, actually I realized it yesterday. But as for the means, I'd relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity. I never considered carrying the task out myself. I would obliterate Satsuko's uncle. There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Satsuko required mostly money. But the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was only the weight of his life. Oh my god. I kept eliminating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with only the knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I killed him didn't matter. I would allow any method from whatever time and whatever country as long as it ended in a quick and certain death. Whoa. I would not want Keiichi to be my enemy in any way, shape, or form. Like, this dude's intense. If I were to have an additional condition, it would be to not get caught. Removing him was an act designed to return the peaceful times we had with Satsuko. If I was arrested in exchange for the removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we'd go back to our normal lives. That was my supreme objective. My ultimate goal. Kill him, definitely. But definitely don't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with one another. The condition of not leaving a trace back to me automatically narrowed to number of murder methods. No witnesses was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there'd be nobody around. I mentally reconstructed the land around Satsuko's house. The number of pedestrians different at different times, the movement algorithm of the neighbors. Would I lure him out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where would I carry this out? Where? It needed to be somewhere I wouldn't have to leave a trace. When? It needs to be as soon as possible for Satsuko's safety without wasting even a millisecond. This is absurd, completely absurd. When I thought about it this way, it struck me how easy the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if I was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer. But our reason prevented that. Told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. I think there's a lot more preventing people from just killing people, but fair. Absurd. You went all the way out into the very middle of the ocean. You wouldn't leave any trace at all. Anyone would drop those they hated into death if they knew that. It was all too easy to simply remove him. I can leave class right now, grab a metal baseball bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Estimated time would be 25. He's got it down to the minute. Jeez, dude. If I want us to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1500 seconds. I knew just how much his continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within just 1500 seconds after making up my mind. And when I decided what to do, he only had 1500 seconds. Actually, if I ran full speed to his house, the number would go down even further. But he was alive. He was still part of this world at this very moment, having torn Satsuko's body and mind to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1500 seconds. You think I'd let you live to breathe even 1500 more seconds of air? I'm taking that permission back, right here, right now. You better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually need more than 1500 seconds. I'm not just gonna end you. Getting back our old lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting out of this world. They won't find a culprit. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands on the likes of you as naturally as I brush my teeth before bed. Dang! That is a hardcore insult. So to do that, I'll make special exception for you and give you more than 1500 seconds. I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I can construct a perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Keiichi. You can't let time go to waste. Yeah, I know. He's just having a discussion with himself in his brain. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him with certainty. I won't even waste much time to perfect the plan. Think back. Tomorrow is with Tanagashi, isn't it? Last year on the night with Tanagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant and her brains splattered everywhere. That's it. He's someone who deserves to be given death on the night of Tanagashi. Hey, Oishiro-sama, what's up? You call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Satsuko. Cursing Satsuko's family for that damn stuff is your own business, but now you've made Satsuko unhappy when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Keiichi Maibara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Hinamizawa, a failure. Sick burn. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. It's hard to read, man. This is getting so intense. Besides, if you just cursed and killed both her aunt and her uncle last year, none of this would have ever happened. The curse this year, it's not on you. I'll be the one deciding. It won't be the three families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes. No, not some vague people who I can't tell if they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way, just watch. Stay quiet and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of the earth. I wonder how he's looking right now when he's thinking this all in his head, because he's still in the classroom with everybody just kind of chilling. I will stomp out his very existence. Go away. Disappear. And die. I'll tear your heart apart just like you did to Satsuko. I'll have your blood as payment. Jeez, dude. War, yelling noises.
Keiichi-kun, 大丈夫?
Rena, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor?
急に倒れたからびっくりしたよ。
Oh, wow.
うなされてなかった？うなってたよ。
うるさい。黄色い声で話しかけるな。
God. Okay, she's snapped, bro. My friends gave a start and backed away.
なんだよ。
Rena and the others, they exchanged glances, unsure what to say, and stood confused for a few moments.
今の、圭一くんの声。
He sounds
当たり
completely
前だ
different.
ろ。
Rena gulped firmly and opened her mouth.
今一瞬、圭一くん、すごい目だった。
目？光の角度でそう見えたんだろ。バカバカしい。
見間違いじゃないよ。あんな目。初めて見た。
What were these guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately.
前原圭一くんだよね。
Damn, so he's gotta look really just crazy right now. What was Rena saying? Who else do I look like except Keiichi Maibara? The look I gave her seemed to speak quite eloquently to those irritated thoughts. She understood and quickly apologized.
ごめん、気にしないでね。
Alright, before we talk anymore, we got some new tippies. Looks like there's 2 notebook parts, so should be quick. Emergency. June 18th, 1983. Abuse issues regarding Satsuko Hojo urgent. We propose that Satsuko Hojo must be taken into immediate custody based on the items below. 1 family situation. Life with adoptive father who recently returned to Hinamizawa had already turned disastrous, and she is currently subject to unendurable physical and mental abuse from the father. 2. Child Consultation Center's response. Child probation officer was dispatched yesterday on the 17th from the prefecture welfare office, but because of the 77 case, changed to continued coaching and cautionary action. Unfortunately, the consultation office head does not properly understand the situation. 3. Status of concerned child. Child already appears to be suffering from an outbreak of something close to neurosis or manic depression. If her unstable pubescent mind is negatively stimulated by stress, it'll put her development of a healthy body and mind at risk. Facts. This cannot be allowed to continue from a humane standpoint. 4. Allegations made to the family court. We propose, based on the above items, that Satsuko Hojo should immediately be taken into protective custody. She should be secured temporarily under emergency allegations to the family court under Article 28. We request emergency coordination between all related agencies. I love just, like, reading these, like, reports, because it just kind of gives you a more in-depth look at certain things going on, and I love that. It's tips. It lives up to its name. Children with Special Needs. General D2-3, number 44. 1977. Child name, Satsuko Hojo. Residence, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Consultation circumstances. Telephone SOS from child of child abuse. Abuse situation. Child claims she's being physically abused by her adoptive father. Family structure, circle marks abusers. Adoptive father, real mother, older brother, child in question. No adoptive father and real mother entered family regency in 19 redacted. Child is the daughter of the mother's previous husband. 4. Child consultation center's response. On the day of the child's telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. On that day, the child welfare officer on duty visited the child's house and conducted an interview. The adoptive father sincerely listened to instructions and agreed to take child raising workshops in the city from now on. As part of the suggested coaching, the center will continue to observe the situation. 5 other notes. As a result of numerous counseling sessions at the city's education consultation office regarding the child, we learned there is a high possibility the cause of the child's excessive distrust towards her adoptive father was the result of a lack of communication. The abuse she claimed hadn't actually taken place. She had made a false report to distance herself from her adoptive father. Below was a note written in pencil by the person on duty at the time. The problem appeared to be more with the daughter. Chief Investigator F of the city's education consultation office said that most of her stories of abuse were likely fabrications. They had decided to shift the focus of their coaching to the child. Be cautious not to take everything the child says as truth. And that's 100% why they can't fully trust her right now. Alright, y'all, that was chapter 8. Some intense stuff going on. We had Kichi kind of snap at the end. I'm sure he's going to do some crazy stuff in the next chapter. So I'm going to call it there, man. That was an emotional part, too. Like, a lot of this, like I said, a couple of the other parts, a lot of the abuse stuff is difficult to watch and read through, but Ryukishi nails a lot of it so good. Like, you can tell he has experience with, like, you know, in-person, in real-life stuff, you know, with his previous job. But hey, if you're enjoying it so far, overall, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. You know, like the video, subscribe if you don't already. Wink. And yeah, look forward to chapter 9.